You know, whenever you purchase a car, a washing machine, or a microwave, or any appliances, they always come with owner's manuals that tells you how to keep them running smoothly. Likewise, there are also secret manuals that lays out hidden social sciences that are used for keeping a society functioning smoothly. Social science is the branch of science devoted to the study of society and the relationships amongst individuals within the society. These social sciences are being secretly used to steer society toward the objective of the ruling class. No societies function randomly. All societies function based upon the narratives that are repetitively fed into them. Therefore, the narratives fed into the white dominant society are falsely scripted to keep the society functioning in ways that serves and protects the system of white supremacy. This is all possible because people are like computers. All you have to do is keep feeding certain information into the society, and you can persuade an entire generation towards an implied objective. This is because people's thoughts and behaviors aligns with the information that are repetitively fed into the society. It doesn't matter if the information presented is untrue. Most people will respond in the same manner because they've all been given the same disinformation. These social science manuals rarely, if ever, makes it into the hands of the masses. They're deliberately kept from the masses and are controlled exclusively by the ruling class. The hidden fact is that as a means of maintaining white social dominance, the narratives fed into the white dominant society are deliberately distorted to propagate the myth of white racial superiority. This is clearly made evident by the fact that we never receive any negative narratives about the dominant group, Caucasians. We instead only receive negative narratives about non-whites. Now critically think, can you not see just how cartoonishly unrealistic this scenario actually is? It's because the white society is literally falsely scripted to exalt their racial group. Here's the social science explanation for why it's being done. According to white social scientists, in order for a dominant group to maintain its position of social dominance, the narratives fed into society must always endorse the dominant group's current position of social dominance. According to the theory, any negative narratives fed into the society about the dominant group actually undermines their position of social dominance. Therefore, all narratives fed into the white dominant society are distorted to falsely exalt their group. This is why all narratives that we receive about the white society falsely exalts themselves. All. Doing so conveys a subliminal message that that the dominant group is inherently superior and are therefore supposed to rule over its subordinate populations. White social scientists describe this nefarious practice as merely instilling a value system into the collective minds of the subordinate populations, the non-whites, that makes us more compliant with white dominance over our lives. This subliminal programming is so effective that it not only makes non-whites more compliant with white dominance over our lives, it in fact in many cases causes many of us to even prefer white dominance over our lives. According to white social scientists, this subliminal programming of non-whites is necessary because people are inherently tribal and do not naturally accept the long-term dominance of other racial groups over their lives. People require being manipulated to do so. This is especially true of the racial group furthest from the dominant group. It's also especially true of the group that has been brutally mistreated for many centuries by the dominant group. Because whenever people are oppressed for long durations, their collective aggressions towards their oppressors will continue to grow until acts of massive rebellion becomes inevitable. The oppressed always eventually rebels against their oppressors. It's the inherent response within the collective human psyche whenever people are kept under long-term oppression. Now, these noted circumstances, as I described, are the current underlying relationship that exists between black people and the white society. This resulted in white oppressive forces deploying specific social sciences against the black population to address that noted scenario. Until you learn of the many hidden social sciences that are being deployed by white oppressive forces for maintaining their control over us and to prevent us from unifying against them, everything else would only confuse you. To overcome these social sciences, we must become educated about them. After all, we cannot overcome what we remain unaware of. This is why those of us who know the truth must teach. African proverb. The following are two of many hidden social sciences that are being secretly deployed against the black population by white oppressive forces, more particularly by white propagandists and white social scientists. The first one that I will disclose is the hidden social science behind the reason why black people are denied of a racially affirming education throughout our entire educational development. The white educational system's failure to adequately provide black students with a racially affirming curriculum, as it routinely does so for white students, is actually a social science that's essential for maintaining white dominance. Because for a ruling class to maintain its position of social dominance over its subordinate population, the oppressed, they must condition the oppressed from a very early age to accept their own subordinate status and to adhere to the authority of the dominant culture. To do so, the education given to the oppressed from the time that their minds are young and most impressionable must be the type that denies them of a racially affirming education. When the oppressed are denied of a racially affirming curriculum, this conditions them to perceive themselves through a false inherent subordinate identity that makes them more accepting of their subordinate status within a society dominated by their oppressors. When the oppressed population are denied of a racially affirming education, even the brightest among them may have little, if any, hope of mentally extracting themselves from their assigned low dominated position within the society. This is the true reason why black people learn more black racially affirming facts from each other than we do so from within our white governed schools. It's a nefarious social science deployed for maintaining white social dominance over black people. There's more. The white media's unrelenting negative depictions of black people that amplifies the negative to the point that it distorts our reality. It's much more than just biased media reporting. It is actually a black racially demoralizing divide and rule psychological warfare campaign. Demoralized divide and rule is the method of maintaining control over a targeted population through constant and unrelenting demoralization in order to create self-hate and division between them. This psychological warfare system is deployed like a massive media marketing campaign that constantly subjects black people to receiving only the fraudulent worst narratives about ourselves. Within this system, fraudulent black racially demoralizing propaganda is being pumped unrelentingly into the unsuspecting minds of the black population without being challenged nor counterbalanced by an equal amount of black positive racially affirming information. Its weapon is the message that it carries, and it conveys a subliminal message that black people are now our own worst enemies and that we therefore need our oppressors to govern over our lives. Moreover, that black people should admire, respect, and trust only our oppressors. This system is extremely effective because when black people are repetitively presented these noted narratives from trusted white media sources, it can be very difficult to resist its implied propaganda programming, especially when the propaganda is being told daily and so unrelentingly. With time, being unable to refute the constant negative disinformation being told about ourselves, many black people eventually comes to accept them. This creates black division, black self-hatred, and also shifts black collective aggressions away from the white society and redirects it against ourselves. This psychological warfare system provides the white oppressors with a more proficient method used for subjugating and controlling black people. For unlike the past blatant Jim Crow and apartheid white racist subjugation tactics that black people could easily identify and therefore unify ourselves against and develop counter strategies against, this current psychological warfare system is not easily recognized, nor is it easily comprehended by most of the black victims. It works by affecting the subconscious minds of the black population through demoralizing propaganda. It taps into the immense power that shame has upon the human mind to mentally enslave millions of black people. Those black people who do not critically think never notices their mental change. This black racially demoralizing divide and rule, a psychological warfare campaign, allows the white oppressors to continue their exploitation and subjugation of black people without any black resistance. The white society's subjugation and exploitation of black people has provided with an era of which it has flourished most throughout history. To allow this era to end would be directly against the interests of the white society, especially given the fact that the white society's dependencies on Africa's natural resources is forever. These combined factors resulted in the white oppressive forces exploiting their monopoly over information that we receive to deploy hidden social sciences that manipulates the black masses to think in ways that allows the white society to continue its exploitation of black people without any black resistance. White racism always prevails best when the black victims no longer recognizes how it works. Is therefore the most proficient subjugation tactic ever deployed against black people. This psychological warfare program works so well, in fact, that it not only makes black people more compliant with white dominance over our lives, it makes many of us prefer it while insisting that it's we that are now our worst enemies. It's at the root of both the profound division and self-hatred now afflicting so many within our communities. It also attacks the core foundation of what bonds us as a people, and we can then be ruled over forever. Sadly, and to our detriment, the oppressed will always believe the fraudulent worst about themselves. That's a quote from Frantz Fanon. Those of us who tell you the truth are trying to free you from a prison that you don't even know you're trapped within. As long as you think that our plight is connected to a Bible written by our most ungodly enemies, and that we're being controlled by a silly slave syndrome myth, which presents what would be the least effective method used for controlling generous people, you will remain forever mentally enslaved by your oppressors. I've just presented you the truth, the sound, intelligent truth. One love and peace.